what I'm doing here is I'm actually dipping my brush into the water and making sure there's no colour on it at all. Take just a bit of the excess off, and then I'm dipping it into, this happens to be Quin Magenta, Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus. And I'm just dipping the tip of the brush in that. Now it's still going to travel because there's quite a lot of water on the page, but we're starting to build up the style. And then I'm plonking it down like this, so the tip is on the outside, and I'm just moving the brush round without this bit moving too much. Very, very loose. I'm not worrying at this stage about perfection or anything like that, because we're going to be adding layers to this. I'm doing the same here. So what you get is almost like a wild rose, because you've got no colour in the centre and then all the colour is on the outside of the petal. Just play around with this. Take your time, you can scoop up. Because blotting creates such lovely texture. And although we may paint over this, it doesn't matter, because it all kind of lends itself to the style that you're going for. It's all part of the process. So I'm doing the same, getting the majority of the water off my brush. I'm just dipping the edge into that Quin Magenta again, and then I'm going to just move around like this, keeping this bit in the centre of the flower. You could also roll, so a rolling would be like this. Isn't that cool? And usually gives you a sharper edge, but that's fine. Let's do another one, a rolly one here. So just rolling your brush around in the shape of a petal. So pretty. Okay, one across the page. Try to keep the two pages married up when I can. Okay, so we've already got the basics of a piece there. Let's just reintroduce a little bit more green. So I'm putting more water down, and I've got some Quin Gold. I'm going to just mix up a little green with that. I love Quin Gold because it's so luminous, I think is the word. It's just so pretty. It's quite pale, and the value is light. It has a lot of water added, and I'm just going to do a similar kind of effect, just rolling my brush around in various places. I do need to scoop up this area. I always do that, and then it loops through to the next page. Mixing a gold or a yellow with your green makes it a lovely spring green, nice and bright and jolly. Jolly, I haven't said that word for ages. It's so funny because when I'm doing classes I seem to go back into a kind of a bygone era, which I probably didn't belong to. This is the beauty of watercolour. Although it is a difficult medium, and probably the hardest medium in some ways, don't let that put you off though, it's beautiful. It's okay, it's biddable, because what you can do always, if you've made a mistake and you don't like something, you go in with a very clean brush, get the excess water off, and then you can just kind of rub at it like this. And it will come right up. You can do that actually with dried watercolour as well. And here we go, here's an Eradicator by Billie Showell. That does the same thing. It's got a slightly stiffer kind of feel to it, and it acts like an eraser, so you can kind of just go in and take up any watercolour that you like. I use this actually just to do leaves. I don't really use it as an eradicator. Right, let's go in and add a different colour. So I have, now which one is it? Liquitex Muted Pink. And I love this colour. Let's just kind of do the same with that. And just, oh, isn't that gorgeous? And just roll over some other petals. And don't feel like you have to make it in the shape of a flower. This is just very, very loose. And we're just thinking of colour and the blending of the watercolour. We're not thinking of, oh, it's got to be a rose, or it's got to be a carnation. It'll be what it wants to become, and I think that's what I love about watercolour. Very loosely, just rolling my brush. So relaxing. Not a lot of paint on the brush there. And feel free to turn your paper whenever you like. Don't listen to anyone who says you can't turn your page around to paint. I'm not into kind of too many rules. Just enjoyment, and when you follow the joy, things tend to go a lot more smoothly. That's my motto, I think. Follow the joy. Alright, so we've got this lovely muted pink now. I'm just going to add a bit more colour to that. Just rolling again. Okay. And we're going to change the values. So we started off with a very pale value, lots of water to pigment, and then we're adding slowly more pigment to our water. So now I'm going to just build up green, and I've got undersea green here, but I'm mixing it with a little bit of the Quin Gold. I love this green. So any green that you have, and if you don't have Quin Gold, you could use yellow. And because this is kind of more of an abstract thing, we don't have to worry about them looking exactly like leaves, do we? I don't think so. Just adding some over this one here, and because, like I say, we're building up the value, it starts to kind of bring the piece towards you a bit more. working very slowly today. Sometimes I like to work quickly. I'm in a kind of a very laid back mood. So there, my painting is following the mood. So I think what I'm going to do now is actually go in really thickly, and I'm going to bring another kind of pink. It's actually lilac, Quin Lilac, which I really love. It's one of my favourite colours, but I see it as a pink. I'm pretty sure it's more of a pink really. So I'm going to put that here. Love it. And we're going to now build up again, and I'm doing the thing where I dipped my brush in just water, clear water, taking a little bit of the excess off, and I am dipping the tip in. Can you see? Yes, you can just about see the Quin Lilac very, very thickly. You don't want a big blob on the end, so just kind of pull it out a little bit. And then we're just going to go in really confidently and do the same kind of rolling technique. And let's not worry about making that a complete flower. Don't think we need to worry about the middles of flowers. These are just kind of semi-abstract petals. And isn't that a cool technique? I mean, you're actually not really painting, you're printing almost. What's that hair there? Isn't that gorgeous? I do love this technique. So we're going again. Oops, a bit too much water, I think. You have to be a little bit more confident here, but you know, go for it. And just vary where your petals are landing. Still just coming into the page here. All you have to think about is keeping this part of the brush in the middle of your petal, the base, and just roll the tip round. So I've still got kind of quite a watery brush. I'm just going in again and just pulling that neat paint out and swirling it around just a little bit. And then let's do one here. This will flow into that because it's still wet. Which will be lovely. Yes, isn't that beautiful? How can you see that? And it also depends on the paints or inks that you're using and how they behave. But I think that's really beautiful. Just these little moments. I'm going to keep going and do one here. Just rolling. Oh, I love it. Oh, but it. I do love that one. I don't know what I did there. I'm going to start again with my brush. Wet it, take the excess off, and then get neat paint, and off we go. Do another one here, I think. So the beauty of this is that we've been building up this background, and these are like the feature flowers now. Rolling round. Beautiful. Right. Don't know why I went into a London accent then. I'm from the northwest. Just looking at placing these and try and keep it random. For some reason I always think of a chessboard and the way that the chess pieces move around, so like the knight goes 2 and then 1, or 1 and then 2. So that your composition is kept random. I don't know if that's helpful at all. It might just be me being weird, but just keeping it random and having them maybe pointing in different directions. So Do one over here. I want more water at the base there, so I'm going in again, taking off all the paint, just water on my brush and the tip with the Lilac. Yep. Oh, love it. Okay, let's keep going now. The trick is here not to overdo things, because that's where I go wrong quite a lot. And this is the one that I used for the rose class, by the way, the Lilac. It's just radiant. I adore it. Okay, so we've got one. It doesn't really matter, these aren't flowers, but we've got the petals going this way and this way. I'll do one going this way, I think. I'm going to be quite confident. I'm going to get kind of quite neat paint on my brush here. Just added something there and I'm not too keen, so I'm just pulling it round. Job done. Okay. Maybe a little one up here. It's getting quite crowded on this side, and this is me as well. I am neurodivergent because I have FND, which is a brain disorder. And no matter how I try and how much I turn things around, one page is always busier than the other. And I don't know what my brain's doing there, but so I have to kind of consciously think about what I'm doing on each page. And it doesn't matter though, does it, Holly? It doesn't matter, because they each have their little personality. I'm going to leave that one just like that. And I can see there's a space here. I'll maybe copy this kind of petal here and put one in just over that one, maybe kind of with that poking in the background, which is lovely. Alright, this is kind of coming together. I think another one up here. Then I'm kind of going hands off with Lilac. Okay, now I've done a few. What I'm doing there is I'm pushing down a bit more than I did with the others. I quite like that. So I'm really squeezing the brush down. Okay, tiny one here, maybe just making a little appearance. Tiny little roll there. Okay, this is a pause moment now because it's really pretty as it is. And I just have to ask myself, do I want to add anything else to that? It's very kind of abstract. Maybe just some dark leaves. Bring this forward again. So this is Undersea Green, which is a beautiful natural green, and Quin Gold. You see, I had some kind of paints out that I didn't feel I needed to use, but actually the Quin Gold has come in handy there. What if I do a similar thing and just kind of place these down, slightly rolling? Maybe more pigment. So So a deepening value. Again, almost just printing with the brush, just rolling it a little bit, bringing it down, adding a bit more pigment again to water. It's very unusual for me to paint this slowly, but I'm enjoying it. Just a print there, I think. Very hard to draw paint or whatever in the creases. Okay, yeah. You know what I don't like is that it's just slightly, it's too kind of leaf-like. So I'm just going to pull out some of those with just a bit of water around the edges. Just rub it a little, get those hard edges off. Let's go around here as well, just kind of let these flow together a bit more. Alright, so I'll go back to my bigger brush because I do like the challenge of using just one brush for a piece, if you know what I mean. I'm just going to drag this out as well. This is why I love these sketchbook practices, because I can share with you that when I've done something I'm not too keen on, that even with watercolour there's always something you can do. So again, I'm just going to blur the edges here, let that pink flow out a little bit. Yeah, I'm really loving this page now, so I think I need a few more leaves on this page. As you can see that this has gone in a very certain direction and this one's lost its way a little bit. So I'm going in. I'm going to go in with the lighter value, more water to pigment, and just add some very gentle leaves in the places where I feel we need to do this. It's a little bit more delicate, doesn't it? But I quite like the different stages of a painting like this. Just checking my phone is still recording. Sometimes a little bit wayward. Okay, something here. Just check which direction things are going. I think it needs to come into the page from the left. And maybe a little bit there. going to, oh no, I've seen a little gap here. It's a little bit of white is lovely. Too much white kind of looks like an oversight. Okay, so whilst those are wet, I'm going to go in now with the greater value, so more pigment to water. And of course what's happened now is because we're doing this a little later than here, the paint is flowing in a little bit more here, and I can see that's not going to happen exactly the same because most of the pink has dried, but it might just work if I put it next to the lighter value ones. Just rolling again. You can always take out the hard lines if we don't like them. And you can also drop in where you've already got leaves that's still wet, and just drop in a bit more pigment to those. So a tip for when you get to this stage and you're really not sure if it needs anything else is just to take a pause, take a photograph of it, and things that are missing usually appear. I don't know why that is, but I often use that technique just to check over my work and see if there's anything I want to add. Because I'm filming and I haven't got two phones, I'm just going to wrap this up now because I think it's quite nice and loose and I don't want to spoil it. I'm going to just add a few loose kind of muted, what was it called? I love this one. The muted pink Liquitex ink with what I've got on my brush is a little bit of green, so they kind of merge together. It's very kind of very dusky pink, that's what that makes. Just adding a few little details. One little roll here, oh, too green, taking the excess off, dipping it in that muted pink, and I'm just adding some final little touches. Some lovely detail here. That's another thing, is to just pause and look and think, oh, that's nice, I don't think I'll touch that. And other times when that happens and it all merges in. So I'm not going to do any more because I've learnt from bitter experience that I tend to kind of go overboard, and there is a point when you look at your work and what you've done, and even though this is just a practice and a little sketchy thing, it's a really good part of learning because it takes confidence. It takes you saying, okay, no, that's it, I am going to leave it. It's got a life of its own now. I've created that, but it's his own little thing and I'm not going to mess anymore. So there we go. But I really hope you enjoyed this, and any questions, just leave a comment below.